and welcome to Sips of Inspiration. I'm Anne Butera, and today I have Ishrat Khawja with me. I have known Ishrat for quite a while. She and I connected through our blogs, which I guess that's true of a couple of the people that I've talked to for this series. And it's just so nice to be talking to her face to face, finally. And one of the things I remember about her is that she participated in my first and more than one handmade joy exchange that I did. And I actually have the little piece that she sent me because she is the person who sent me her joy that she handmade. I know I have the card somewhere, but I couldn't find it this morning. But yeah, her sweet little crocheted purse that she sent me, all the way from Saudi Arabia at the time. But
yeah.
Now you live
I'm in the UK. I can't believe you still have that. I cannot believe you still have that. I hardly crochet anymore. This is so odd because I think that was almost 10 years ago.
Yes, I think right? It was.
Or 8 years, something like that, 8 years ago. And the funny thing is, the first time I took part in your handmade joy swap I was in Saudi Arabia, and the second time I was in Algeria.
Right.
And now I'm back in the UK. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
So can you tell everyone about who you are and what it is that you do?
So I'm Ishrat, like you said. I'm a hand-dyed. I hand dye yarn. I was crocheting and knitting for quite some time, and the dyeing yarn kind of happened when I was in Algeria. I couldn't find decent yarn of any, let alone hand dyed. I couldn't really find decent yarn of any sort. So I thought, I was watching a lot of podcasts and things like that, the knitting podcasts and stuff, and I thought, let me give this a go. This sounds nice. And, I've always been a bit on the, creative side, and I thought, let me try this. And I fell in love. I just loved it. I loved playing with the colors and the yarn. And it's not only the dyeing the yarn, but knowing that I'm going to dye the yarn and then either I or someone is going to create something else with it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's how it all got started. Then we ended up moving back to the UK from Algeria, and it was here that I just, because I hadn't really thought of how I was going to, I didn't think it was going to become a business when I started it off, but moving back and then thinking, I was at the point where I was looking for work, and I thought, why am I looking for other sort of jobs and to, going out and doing some kind of work outside, and let me just do what I enjoy doing. And then I started really seriously thinking about making it into a business. That's how it all started.
That's so beautiful. So can you talk a little bit about your inspiration? Where is it that you find inspiration, and what do you do to get your inspiration flowing when you're feeling a little stuck or when you're just not feeling in the mood?
A lot of my inspiration comes from my travels, because I traveled, apart from living, in the Middle East and North Africa. We used to travel a lot as a family, and growing up we were traveling a lot with my parents. So I'm really grateful that I did get to see quite a lot of the world, various cultures and stuff. And so a lot of the inspiration for the colors and the color combinations come from the travels. And usually it'll be like, and it's not only that, sometimes it's like a childhood memory or something, but I tend to kind of have an idea of something or an image. I'm a very visual person, so I kind of have an image in my mind and think, let me try this. Sometimes it'll end up turning out the way I expect it to, and other times it'll take me somewhere totally different, and that's the beauty of it, though. So what I do when I'm a bit stuck with, like, inspiration wise, is I like to kind of put pen to paper. So I'm very much, I'm one of those people who has lots and lots of notebooks and lists, and, but that's also the way that I can kind of focus as well on, like, I'll kind of brainstorm, and come up with lots of ideas. And other times it'll just be just all sorts of doodles and random notes and things. And later then I'll give it a day or two, go back to it, and that's when it'll kind of become a little bit clearer in my mind that, yeah, this is what I want to do with that. So I hold on to all of those notes, because you just never know when. I don't know when I'm going to go back to it and go, oh yeah, I want to take that further now.
Then that becomes a rich resource for you.
Yes, it does. It does.
Do you journal, or you said you doodle?
Yeah. I'm an eclectic journaler. I'm terrible with that, because what it is I have lots of beginnings of journals, and I kind of start off like that, but a lot of the time then I don't stick to it on a regular basis, which I'm now okay with. Initially I used to think, no, I need to kind of do this regularly, and so like those 1 month challenges and things, that those never work for me, because I'll start with good intention, and then 1 week down the line, that's it. So that's how it is with my notes. I tend to kind of so I prefer to just call them notes, and I'll kind of have all the ideas in the books, and then so it's not proper journaling. But one thing that I do like is like a prompted sort of a prompted challenge, or a prompted journal challenge. You know how where you have a prompt, and then you could kind of go off and think about it using that idea. I do like that, and I have taken up some of those. Yeah.
That's great. So what would you say the biggest challenge to your creativity is, and how do you work to overcome that? What techniques do you use?
I think the biggest challenge for me is, it's going to sound odd, but my family, in the sense that they are my sort of, I'm juggling with, it's always between my family and what I do in my creativity. So the biggest challenge is probably that, just to have the space to kind of just do my thing, or the time, even the space and the time to be able to think clearly and take projects further. And so what I tend to do is, I think, right, I can't wait for a time that I'm going to have on I do try to make time for myself in the early morning or late at night. I'm finding myself now to kind of prefer the early mornings, because what has happened in the past is I'll go early morning and late at night, and then burn the candle at both ends, and it's just so the early mornings are really nice, to just have that space and that time, and the weather is quite nice now, and you kind of have a little, you can hear the birds chirping and that sort of thing. It's nice. But the other thing, apart from making that time for myself, is I've given myself, I think, okay, the children are around, because I have some younger children, some of my children are, the youngest is 4, and I think, let them just get involved in it. They're around, it's okay, let them see what I do. And so now they actually come and ask me, well, what's this color called? Well, what have you called this? Oh, I like that. Can you make me a pair of socks in that? Or, so they're very much involved in it. I mean, obviously not in the actual my creative process, but they are living around it and seeing it. And that's become something that's quite important to me, because I want them to know that, you can eventually do something like this if you want. You can do something that you enjoy. You can make it your, whether you make a business out of it or whatever, but you can do this too. So, or anything like it. So yeah, they're
That's
kind of just
beautiful.
around it. I just let them, yeah, live around it, and yeah.
That's so wonderful, because I think it's so important for children to see that and see that you're prioritizing your own creativity and you're not putting them aside,
Yeah,
but it's important to who you are as a person, and it should be
yeah,
important to who they are. Not that they're going to do exactly what you do, but when they find their thing, whatever it is, it's
yes,
important to
exactly. Yeah,
honor that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it can be, like I said, it's a bit of a juggling act, but yeah, exactly. That's exactly because I felt they're going to think I'm just mum, and I am mum, but I'm not just mum.
Right.
So yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
are any of your children really creative in the same sorts of spheres that you are, or
Uh,
not?
Not the same. Um, they're slightly different. I have one daughter who's a little bit more creative, and she's kind of she has taught herself to crochet, and but she's more interested in other things like um, soap making or something like that, like different things. I have one that has tried a few, like cake decorating, and they kind of dip into things. I don't put any pressure on them. I find the younger ones are the ones who are more I don't know, they humor me more. I think they don't they like me geeking out about the yarn and stuff, so they'll come and kind of ask me about the yarn and whatever. But yeah, I don't put any pressure on them, on either of them, either way. They want to, uh, but yeah, I think they're also very sciencey, so those two, yeah. So there's nothing to say you can't do both, though.
Exactly. Well, and
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
do with your yarn dyeing is very sciencey too.
yes, yeah, yeah. It is.
Oh, that's so interesting. So my last question is, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given, creative advice? Or if there hasn't been any advice that's really resonated with you, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned on your creative journey?
Um, I remember talking to a yarn dyer back when I just started dyeing yarn, and I was kind of embarrassed to show her what I dyed, and because I thought she's been doing this for ages and she's so good, and she said, "Oh, it's nice, and we all have to start somewhere. We all started somewhere." And that's kind of stuck with me because I thought, yeah, that's true. Not everybody is an expert at what they do straight away. You kind of you have to start somewhere, and it's always stayed with me. And I've realized that yes, you have to take it one step at a time. So you're not going to be perfect, but you're going to learn and you're going to improve, and you can continuously like improve your technique or whatever just keep going. So that's something that has always stuck with me. And it's funny enough, later on, like not that long ago, recently, I was talking to another yarn dyer and about something about a certain, I think it was about a certain technique that they use or something like that. And they were telling me about how when they first started, how they were dying, and I just thought, well, that's exactly like me. So I'm not the only one who just started off in my little kitchen and built up like that, and they are really quite established now and whatever. So that's what it is. I think you just have to give yourself the time, give yourself the like go easy on yourself and take it one step at a time, and you can keep improving, keep going. Don't think that um oh, this is terrible and no, I can't do it after the first few goes. Just keep trying. If it's something you really enjoy doing, just keep going, keep trying, stick at it. That's it.
Yes. And that's
Yeah,
that's wonderful advice. And it's something that's true for whatever you do. I know
yeah,
with my painting, my first few paintings were not good, and I stuck at it and I kept going. I know a lot of people get put off when they try something and it doesn't turn out perfectly right away.
Yeah.
But if you think about anything like music, or if you're going to start learning the piano, you're not going to suddenly be playing
Yeah.
Mozart the first time you sit down.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been.
Speaking of your paintings,
Oh, yes.
I have
Oh,
one.
right.
I have it up there. I can't show you because it's up there, but oh yeah, I still have your the stargazer.
Yes,
And
I
I ended up
remember.
the stargazer lilies. I ended up dyeing a yarn because I used to see that picture all the time. Like, oh, I want to dye those colours.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
have a
so thank you.
garden where you live?
I do. Yeah, I'm so grateful for that, especially now in
Oh, yeah.
lockdown because the kids can run around in it, and yeah, so that's
Wonderful.
and we've been growing a few things as well. So yeah,
Good.
it's
Well,
nice.
it's been so wonderful talking to you today, Ishrat. I will put some links below for people to visit your website, which is fairly new, your online store. That's so
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you still blog too? I didn't ask you.
Not where I well, see when I started the online when I got the website set up, I thought why not? Maybe I'll have a little blog section, and I might end up blogging a bit more there. Yeah, I think I will. I do miss it.
Uh-huh.
It's been a while. It has been a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for talking to me, taking
Thank
time
you.
out of your schedule to your
Thank
busy
you.
juggling schedule to talk to me today,
Oh
Ishrat.
no, thanks for reaching out to me. It's been really nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next month with another Sips of Inspiration.